once again talking about what we've been talking about quite often before. Yes, guys, we're back again doing another video on my series. That's a part of my channel devoted to going from the very beginning to the very end of the Peter Capaldi 12th Doctor's era. And as we know, the 12th Doctor, played by Peter Capaldi, and his first principal companion was Clara Oswald, played by Jenna Coleman, and then eventually we get Bill Potts, played by Pearl McKee, and of course eventually we do get Nardole. And along the way, we have Missy as one of his overarching recurring characters, played by the incredible Michelle Gomez. So, got that out of the way. Now, what are we doing on a video on? Sorry, I thought, what are we doing on a video on? My bad, guys. What are we doing a video about? There we go. A video about. When it comes to this one, you saw the title. Yes, we're now talking about that interesting topic of Kill the Moon. Okay, Kill the Moon. It's a story that takes place right smack dab in the middle, or practically in the middle, of the Series 8. Again, first season of the 12th Doctor. At this point, Clara and the Doctor are pretty consistent Doctor and companion. And they have a nice good rapport overall going on. Also at this point, the Doctor and Clara have made Clara's boyfriend, Danny Pink, fully aware of their relationship. So Danny Pink now is fully aware the Doctor and Clara travel in time and space together. There we go. Now, how to start off with. The Doctor, at the previous story, he had gone to Clara's school to solve a crisis. And along the way, he met a student called Courtney Woods. And Courtney Woods is a disruptive influence, as she is called. But at some point, the Doctor says that he says to her face, as the 12th Doctor can be quite callous, he says she is pretty much nothing special. This affects Courtney, and Clara gets them together to have the 12th Doctor tell Courtney that she is special, but that's not what happens. He just takes them off and they go to the moon, where we have a unit who has gone to the moon because there are literally problems happening on the moon. Long story short, it turns out, well, first of all, there are these killer insects, but still. Also, we find out that the moon itself is pregnant and will hatch, and therefore their moon will be completely destroyed if it does hatch, and that will completely destroy the Earth. Yes, because a lack of a moon does have an effect on a planet. It does. It has direct effect on a planet that it orbits around. Not orbits around. That it is, amongst, or a satellite too, practically. Sorry. I phrased that really correctly. A moon, the loss of a moon definitely will have a direct negative effect on the planet that it does reside amongst or along, aka it's practically a satellite too, almost. There we go. Alright, so, and satellite is actually used in very interesting terms. Like, when it comes to a satellite, you think it's something that orbits around something else. No, it could be along something that actually is right next to it. It turns out satellite, the term satellite, has a lot more definitions than it once used to. I've learned that the hard way. Okay, so back again, when it comes to this, and then so, long story short, the dilemma has to be, do they or do they not kill the moon? They kill the creature inside the moon that is hatching. They kill, because the moon itself is an egg. Sorry, I spoiled that. I totally spoiled that. Oh god, I really spoiled that. The moon itself is an egg. Fine. I spoiled it. I spoiled it. I tried to speak in very ambiguous terms before, but now I've completely shattered it. Yes, it is pretty much a big egg. So the moon itself is going to hatch. But if it hatches, they lose a moon. So now Clara and Courtney Woods are debating with the other scientist who is there about whether or not they should kill the moon. If they kill the moon, they kill the egg inside the moon will stay there, but if they let it hatch, then they are letting it live, but their moon will be destroyed in the process and humanity will suffer. Does the Doctor help with this decision? No, he does not. Instead, the Doctor leaves them, forcing them to make a decision all on their own. This very difficult decision on their own. Why? Because it's their planet, Therefore, only they have the right to influence it. He has no right. Now, at the end of this, Clara is pissed. It turns out, okay, for those who've not seen it yet, I'm not going to spoil what does ultimately happen. But eventually, Clara and the Doctor meet up again at the end of it, and he's happy with her about the decision that she made. Same with Courtney Woods, but she is pissed. She's like, you weren't there for me when I needed you. He's like, I was allowing you all to make the choice, allowing you all to grow up, essentially. Make your own decisions. But she's like, you're my friend. You're supposed to have my back. And you didn't. And she's like, honestly, Doctor, I'm done. And she leaves. Or she is going to leave. She leaves him, as implied. They're not going to really have any more adventures after that. Or maybe they'll have a farewell adventure, and that is it. That is it. Boom. Kill the moon. Okay, now with this story, oh god, this story. Okay, this story, I admit when I first did see it, yeah, that concept, this message of beating me over the head with the idea of abortion, that really, really irked me. Like, really irked me. Like, I saw why everybody did not like this story a lot. But this story, seeing it on second viewing, I'm still not crazy about it, but it's a bit of a curate's egg for me with this story. Like, there are some good aspects to it there I really like. First, any chance of going to the moon, I'm taking it. When it comes to Doctor Who, I love when Doctor Who goes to the moon. And there are a couple moments in this when Peter Capaldi, as the Doctor, was very, very amusing. And he was able to do very good line delivery. And of course, Jenna Coleman is always good at line delivery. Alright, so, and visually, it looks amazing. Like, it really makes you feel like you're on the moon. It looks so cool. Okay, then also, the idea of killing the moon. I hate the whole thing, but I cannot, again, this is a curate's egg of a story, in a sense that I hated the moment that, you know the moment I'm talking about, but after the moment when the Doctor, Clara, and Courtney and the other woman are on on Earth looking up, and the Doctor is just making this speech. That is so good. Like him just talking, I'm like, wonderful. But why is it wonderful? I'm going to get to that in a moment. Another moment I liked is the fact that Clara stood up to the Doctor and was pissed. I understood why the Doctor did what he did. It was this concept of, I'm going to go off, and you know what? You decide. You solve this problem. It's not my problem. You go solve it. That idea, that concept of the Doctor saying, I'm not your God. You know what? Stop depending on me. I can't make all these decisions. You sometimes make the decision. You make it. That is very poignant. The idea of not depending on the Doctor, but instead depending on ourselves. But then also kind of beat me over the head with this idea of Clara and then Courtney. I mean, it helped Courtney feel special again, and that is a good thing. But at the same time, the dilemma that went back and forth, it was a great dilemma to have, it was very important to have, but because of the dilemma going back and forth, again, it reminds me of the abortion question going back and forth, which it's supposed to remind me, but I'm not happy it does. I'm just not comfortable with that, you know? But I'm not that I'm comfortable with the idea of abortion and talking about pro-abortion or anti-abortion. Like, I'm not talking about that. It's just something that, this really beat me over the head with it. And if you're okay with that message in it, fine. But the problem is, I admit, maybe it's because I am pro-abortion. Like, I believe life is precious. But sometimes if a woman wants to abort a child, I think it's her right. I think it is. I do. And so maybe it's because, no, that's not even that. It's not even the fact that I admit have different views. It's just like this really was a message that really was put into the forefront of my forefront, and either you take it or you leave it, or you love it or you can't stand it. Either way, it's like I came to the moon and I got this message. It's like here I was, yeah, I'm at the moon. Oh. Okay, whatever. You know what? It's of course messages have to happen in Doctor Who every now and again. I don't know. I'm always wonky when it comes to situations like this, and I'm sorry I'm not giving you guys a good answer. I'm not. I'm not giving you a clear thing about how I feel here, but I admit, yeah, I'm not crazy about this story when it comes to that concept. But the main problem with this is something I really began to notice. Guys, you know that I've been complaining about the pacing of Series 8, about how it goes so quick sometimes, it's hard to understand always what you are being given. Because we're getting so much, so fast, coming at us, we don't always have time to process everything in the time it takes to process things. And again, this is a matter of just pacing. Like I said, when Peter Capaldi is given time to draw out his lines and say his lines, he is very comprehensible, he is very good. But when he is condensed and he's talking quickly, unless you're used to his way of talking, you're not always going to understand what he's saying. But the problem also, I began to notice even more, was with this episode, Kill the Moon. There was that one time where Courtney killed a super large insect by squirting something at it. And me, I'm like, when were we given time to know, or when was Courtney given time to figure out that would kill it? Like, when did she know? How did she know? When did she acquire this knowledge? It's never fully explained how Courtney acquired the knowledge, and I kept going back, rewinding it to find out when was that definitive moment where Courtney was shown how that would have killed, or how she would have used deductive reasoning to realize, or where was this container even before she grabbed it and used it to kill? Like, where did it come from? Where did that squirt bottle come from? And when was it set up? When was it set up? And I've had complaints with Doctor Who before about this, when something was not set up very well, but was used to solve a problem after it was not set up very well. So, I've done it before, I'm just doing it again now, because I'm just being consistent. I promise, that's all it is. But Courtney, I'm like, I kept rewinding it, because I felt I just kept missing when it was explained, or when we got a moment in any of Courtney's past to explain why she would have known this bottle would kill it, and why she just reacted so casually after this insect almost killed her. That's another thing. If the actors are not given time to react to a dangerous situation, the dangerous situation does not feel very dangerous, and it deflates. But this goes back to something I've talked about before, where pacing problems. Things are happening very quickly, so it's hard to retain things. But I'm now seeing even more precisely what the problem is. Action. Okay, when it comes to acting, actors are often told by directors to, okay, half the time, it's perfectly fine to, when someone's giving you a line, you react and then you speak. But other times, other half of the time, a director will say to you, act on your line. So don't just react and then speak, but react and speak at the same time. This is called acting on your line. The actors act on their lines, but here's a problem. While the actors are acting on their lines, the director is also acting while they're talking. What I mean by that is, it's that action works in beats. You set up the horror, you set up the scariness, you set up the fright and the fear, and you give the actors time to react to the scary situation, time to realize there's a problem and let the fear rise. Then, after everyone's done talking and recognizing the problem, then let the action happen. And then only let talking happen when there's no action at all. But if you have a lot of action happening while the characters are talking, you're making the audience focus on the action and the dialogue at the same time. And if both of those things are happening at super speed, it's hard to keep track of what's going on, because you have to pay attention to the action and the visuals while at the same time trying to hear dialogue that's going quite quickly. There's too much multitasking, too many activities going on at one time, so it blurs all the activities, then you focusing on one activity at a time, so when the action happens, we can focus on the action, but when the dialogue is happening, we can hear the dialogue. And that's what I noticed with Kill the Moon. The scenes where the doctor or somebody was allowed to talk, and that's all that was happening, that was easier to understand and appreciate. But when a lot was happening at one time, and then it's like, whoa, 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 you're trying to pay attention to so many things, it's going to sometimes get a little befuddled because there's too many activities happening at one time. Let the actor act on their line sometimes, of course, but every now and again, let the action wait till the actor has finished processing something, finished processing something, so that when the action happens, it feels everything lands better. Give everything more time to land. And that's something I'm noticing so far. It's not understanding that acting works better sometimes in beats. Sometimes it's perfectly fine to have a lot of action going on while the person's talking, but don't do it too often or things get lost. So that's my overall feelings with Kill the Moon. Alright, it had some good elements to it. I love the idea of us going to the moon. I do. Had some great moments with the actors. Looks beautiful. That being said, again, it's just the pacing sometimes with how things are done. And yes, I'm just not overall crazy about this story, like, at all. This is so far my least favorite story of the season so far. It has some good elements to it, but it's just not my favorite story. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Have you watched Kill the Moon? Have you not? Please just let me know down below in the comment section. Either way, whether you love this story and you love the message and the abortion, subtext, or the pro or anti-abortion that was going on here when it came to the messages, that's fine. It's totally fine. I admit I'm a little confused and wonky with it. I admit that. What can you do? And those who hate this story, it's fine too. Guys, you're all fine. Remember that. You're all fine. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Bye, guys.